Hi guys, sorry for the technical delays. I was trying to work out how to do the computer and it went a bit crazy. It's been a while since I've been on here live. I hope everyone is okay. I am jumping in today to talk about trauma. The camera on this is really weird, so if I look straight, look like I'm looking at an angle. So I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to do it on my laptop rather than on the phone. So anyway, what's going on here? Bibbing up with lots of different things. It's experiencing performance. If it jumps out, I will jump back in. So don't worry about that. I think Facebook is having a bit of a moment. It's updated a lot of things, and it. I hope you can see me. I don't know if I can see you. So if you're in and you want to message and tell me you're here, that'd be great. Then I can know that you're here. And I have got a box that says comments, but usually it tells me how many people are on and I can't see that. So I appreciate it's school holidays, so people might be doing different things. So if you are watching on the catch-up replay, so I know that you've seen it. And if you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I will get round to them and answer as many as I can. So this space, I'm going to do some laser lunch slots. So I'm going to do not every week, but I will start to be a bit more active and give you guys some content, give you guys some stuff that's helpful, and some stuff that is useful in terms of how you can move forward. So I wanted to talk a bit about trauma. I've been doing quite a lot with trauma, as you're probably aware, and with the pandemic kind of coming in, it's becoming very prevalent at the moment. So what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about EMDR, because that's the approach I use for trauma-based interventions, and how you're ready for support, what that looks like, and what I can help you. So, the chair's really squeaky as well, isn't it? Right, bear with me. So, I wanted to talk with you about the current pandemic a little bit, because basically there's lots of stuff in the media at the moment about being referred to as like a mass trauma event, and it basically is. We know this. Been 18 months now and we are still in the height of it. It hasn't gone away. We're still struggling with working out what society looks like now, how we feel about that. For anyone that's had previous difficulties, it's just compounding so much more. So obviously a lot of stuff I've been supporting people with has been a lot around anxiety and sleep problems, and depression, loneliness, stress. So those seem to be the kind of key symptoms that we're coming up against, like post-pandemic, and just that kind of real enmeshed kind of drain, I suppose, over the last 18 months. So all of these symptoms can be explained in the context of trauma. It's all symptoms that we experience as part of trauma pathways. And, obviously some of us will have seen people really unwell. Some people are working in those environments where people are really unwell. So there's lots and lots of stuff going on for people at the moment. Everyone's having a complete different experience. And so when we experience an event like the pandemic, or it could be kind of a loss of routine, loss of a job, family member, kind of any kind of significant, what we call a significant life event. So anything that feels tricky, it's stored in our limbic system, so it doesn't get processed properly into our process part of our memory. And the limbic system is where our kind of fight and flight responses kick in a lot. It's very emotive, very primitive part of our brain. So if you imagine, I say this to people a lot, but imagine like a computer. So, if you've got lots and lots of things on the desktop that aren't filed away properly, it's quick access to it. So the more it's quick access, the more you end up accessing it. So anytime anything similar happens, I'll give you a prime example. My daughter, her water broke the other day, and when she was spiraling with her meltdowns like children do, one of the things she said was, my water bottle's broken, because I think it was just another loss for her. And so, when we kind of like, our brain links in all these different experiences together. So all our experiences of loss get coupled together, which is why you know, that link came up for her. And I think, you know, if I hadn't been aware of that, I'd have been like, that's really random. Why is that coming up at the moment? But you know, these are things that we know happen. Our brain sort of links all these different experiences together and says, oh yeah, that's part of the same thing. So when we are looking at those sorts of things, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at how your brain links it all together, and what we want to do is to help your brain process stuff efficiently. So when we've experienced this trauma, like the pandemic, you know, lots of us have experienced lots of different things. We've all been affected in some way, even if it is just, you know, loss of routine or loss of structure in some way, not being able to do what we want to do. All of those things are going to be factoring in. So those are things that we can work on. So I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about how you know you're ready, how you know you're ready to tackle maybe something tricky that's happened to you. It could be stuff that's kind of coming out from the pandemic, or it could be stuff from your previous life, like previous sort of years, you know, stuff to do with like significant traumas, or it could be what we call little t traumas. So that could be anything from a bit of workplace bullying, you know, a difficult manager, stress from work. It could be a relationship breakdown. It could be kind of anything, you know, even like, I suppose what we would class as kind of, you know, daily kind of things, really, like an argument with somebody, anything like that could be factoring in. So what I want to do is kind of give you a bit of a flavour of some of the things that we need to go through, and then I'll do a little exercise at the end, which I think is something that I've done before, but something that I feel is really important for people when you're suffering from any kind of trauma or anxiety or emotional dysregulation in some way. And what it will do is it'll give you a bit of an insight into EMDR as well as an approach. So EMDR isn't for everybody. It's you know you're ready when you're willing and able to discuss difficult things that happen to you. You need to be, whilst we don't need to relive the experience, you do need to be at a place where you're able to at least think about what's been going on and bring it into mind. So we need to be able to work through those feelings, and this can be with adults or with children. So we can what we do is we do a lot of stuff around people's thought processes, and what people's how people view the world and what people think about this particular instant is often very skewed. So when we think about you know, something significant happened to us, quite often we have like a negative thought about it. So we blame ourselves, maybe we take a bit of responsibility, maybe we feel out of control, maybe we feel a sense that there's something wrong with us. So there's lots of different things that can feed into that. So what we look at is we look at those things that maybe are processed a little bit differently in our brain, and we can look at like how to help you move through that. So you do need to be ready to bring to mind the thing that's happened, and we can then work through it together. So you know, you need to also feel as though it's stopping you from living, because I think quite often when we've experienced trauma, it does impact us massively, and it impacts us to the point where we can't move forward effectively in our lives because of something that's happened to us, whether that's childhood trauma or whether that's something like a one-off incident. There's lots of different kind of things that you know we sort of get fed into, really, and it feels strange and it feels difficult. So when you've been living within it for some period of time as well, like, you might not be ready to let it go. So it needs to be something that you're willing to let go, because you know sometimes people like say, well, that's just how I am, but actually it's not about just being how you are. Um, so yeah, so that's something that's important to think about as well. You might also experience some intense flashbacks. So quite often when we've experienced something traumatic, we struggle to sleep at night. Our brain kind of processes the kind of event, and we kind of play it over and over in our mind. You know, and this could be like something like a car accident or something, but it could also be like an argument with somebody or something. So it could be kind of any number of things, really. And sometimes those flashbacks really impact on how we function, and we can't start to function properly. So, and the last point really about kind of, you know, if you know you're ready, is about if you're ready to make those changes. You know, like it's something that you guys need to do. You know, I can do all the support and all the talking and all the kind of techniques and approaches, but actually it's about you implementing it. So it needs to be something that you feel comfortable and confident to, and like to get stuck in and work through with a professional. So that's really important. So what I offer is I offer a package called Overcoming Trauma, which is like an 8 to 12 session package. So I tend to do a bespoke package session where you know, the NICE guidelines recommend 8 to 12 sessions. So we start with 8, and then we can always add 2 if we need to. And I do that with individuals. I'm also doing a lot with companies. And groups, so some sort of senior leadership teams, sometimes people, if they've all experienced the same thing, like workplace bullying or something like that, there's lots of good approaches that we can do group protocols for. So there's stuff that we can do to help with that side of things as well. So yeah, so I offer individuals and group support within this process. So there's lots of things to think about with the packages that I offer. Also with it's just good to kind of be aware that some people are ready and some people aren't. So if you're organising it for somebody else, it's about them understanding fully what they're signing up to. Because I think sometimes people have good intentions and they go, oh yeah, it's definitely something that that person needs. But actually when it comes to it, it's not what that person wants. We find that a lot with children as well, that you know, the parents will go, or the professionals around them will go, absolutely, you know, they're experiencing significant trauma, they need trauma work, and you meet them and they're like, no, I don't want that support at the moment, thank you. So yeah, so you know, the person needs to be aware that that's what they want to do. So I wanted to give you a moment just to experience a bit of EMDR. I didn't want to do anything dramatic because I'm not with you, so I can't see how you're going to respond, and I don't want to obviously bring up things that are really difficult for you. But part of the process, what we do is we do an assessment where we do like a full assessment, a full process of what you know, what your issues are, like where they've stemmed from, like of times that might feed into it, any kind of significant other history. Some people will have lots of feeder things that feed into the same thing. So there's lots of things that we would do that to do a full assessment. Then we do something called resourcing, which is about giving you guys somewhere safe to be and somewhere positive to be. So what I wanted to do was to do some of that. That's, I think everyone should have like a safe place. Everyone should have somewhere that they can take themselves to when they're finding things really difficult or when they're struggling. So what I wanted to do was to go through the safe place exercise with you guys. So I'm aware that you may have children running around, you might be trying to juggle work meetings, you might be kind of doing all sorts of things. So this will stay in the group. So if you want to come back to it later on, just take kind of 5 minutes where you're not going to be disturbed. Would be really helpful. And obviously, if you're driving, please don't close your eyes. But yeah, like just take some time just to really kind of focus on something for a moment, and I promise that this will really help with lots of things. It's not just the trauma approach, we use it in lots of different approaches. So yeah, so I want you to think about a place that you know or that you imagine that feels special to you, a calm place, somewhere that feels you know, that you feel comfortable. So it could be that you're sitting on a beach, it could be that you're in a comfy chair, it could be that you're on the downs, it could be that you're kind of anywhere that feels important, a park, a bench, anywhere that feels special to you at all. It could be your house, it could be kind of someone else's house, it could be literally anything. So take a moment to think about where you feel comfortable. And if you feel comfortable, I want you to just take a moment to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine this place. Notice everything around you. So what we get you to really think about all your different senses, to think about what you can hear, what you can see, what you can smell, and any kind of feelings that you notice connecting with this place. And just take a moment to just be there for a moment. And then I want you to focus on this place and imagine all the different objects around you, the sounds and the smells. I want you to notice if you feel any sensations in your body, like you might feel calm, you might feel relaxed, you might feel those sort of feelings, you might feel energized, you might feel excited, you might feel happy, any of these sort of feelings that might connect with you, and where you might connect those into your body if you had to choose, like where you felt calm. Some people feel it in a particular part of their body, some people feel it all over their body, some people can't connect with it, so don't worry. Just take a moment to just think about where you might feel those feelings. And what I want you to do, when you've got that all in your mind and you can really picture yourself there, we do something called bilateral stimulation in EDMR, involves either eye movements if you're face to face, but what we do a lot on the screen is what we call a butterfly hug, which is crossing hands over our shoulders like this, literally tapping each shoulder. So I want you just to bring up that place and just tap, and just lots of pleasant feelings in your body. Just notice anything else that you might notice. I want you to really focus on that pleasant feeling in your body. And I want you to take a big deep breath. And just take a moment to notice all the things that you've noticed. So there might be some body sensations, it could be the smells, it could be the sounds, it could be anything at all. And think about a word or phrase that describes how you feel in that place. So it could be that you feel calm, it could be that you feel relaxed, whatever that might be. And again, just a couple of taps. Take a big breath. What I want you to imagine is that you focus on the word of that phrase of feeling calm, whatever that might be, the feeling in your body and that place, and kind of connect them all together like a bit of an anchor into your body. So again, just take a couple of taps each side. And then take a big breath. And again, what I want you to imagine is what we call self-cueing. So I want you to imagine the word that you thought about, and I want you to naturally bring up that place that you've just created in your mind. So once you've got those together, again, a small step of taps. When you're ready, I want you to take a big deep breath. And that's it, really. So that is creating our kind of calm place. When we first start, some people don't get it straight away. Don't worry. If you can't see anything, don't worry. What I would suggest is that you perhaps take a moment quite regularly and just try it out. Try and get it instilled into your body. It took me a good 6 months when I was training to actually understand visualizations. I just couldn't get them. I couldn't see anything, and I couldn't see what everyone else saw. So if you don't get it straight away, don't panic. It does it does happen. But take some time to kind of cue that up. What we sort of say is perhaps like once a day, just for a couple of minutes, just try and take yourself to your calm place, just to try and embed it. And once it's embedded into you a bit more, you should be able to use it, like when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling worried. And yeah, so it's something that we use quite a lot in different approaches and different capacities. There's lots of different slants on the calm place. So yeah, practice that. But the tapping sensation and the kind of bringing images is very much what the EMDR approach is about. So obviously imagining that in this context, you know, it's a positive experience that we're getting you to experience. But obviously when it's not a positive experience, you don't need to tell me everything that happens when it goes through your mind. So it's not like you have to kind of give me the full story, but I need to know enough that I can be with you and I can support you. And we always bring you back into the calm place afterwards as well. So I think that's all I wanted to share with you today. I've seen people jumping in and out. I think it doesn't give me numbers and it's quite confusing on this setup, but hopefully those of you that have been here have seen something that's helpful for you. If you watching it later, let me know how you get on. If you're struggling, do reach out. I do a 15-minute free chat, so feel free to reach out and I can talk you through maybe some of the difficulties that you're having. Yeah, I think that's sort of everything I wanted to say today. I am going to be doing these laser lunch slots fairly frequently, and yeah, I'm looking forward to supporting you all over the next few months. So look after yourselves. If you, yeah, if you need anything from me, please don't hesitate. Take care. Bye.